Alright, so I don't really know how this is going to work because I don't really know exactly what it's going to try to do to show that it has understanding of Kate's speech, but I figured why not try. This is what I'm going off of, and these are the hand shapes and the vowels, and these are the locations on or around your face and where sound comes from. So different words will, you make different sounds with the way that you form your lips or from your throat or just kind of things like that. Like something with a long E would be by your lips because you kind of make that sort of E sound. And so it might try to spell things out in a way, and I think that's what it's doing so far. So we have lip, resting position is just this right here. It's a vowel alone or a rest coming back to like a resting position like you have with the violin or any instrument when you're just taking a resting position. I don't know what else to say about it. And peg, I'm not exactly sure unless it has to do with seven, like steely, like seven of swords, or making the P sound. Where is it here? Here. They're all a little bit different, but this is a pretty good example of just how you match up the different vowels with the different places, locations around the face, and as you move back and forth from resting position to the next vowel in a word and the sound where it's coming from, kind of like how strings and your vocal cords can formulate different sounds. That moves in between the syllables of a word. So I'm just going to see what happens, and maybe at the end I'll go through a few different options and write that out for you because I don't know how long this will last, but and see what it comes up with. That makes sense. National usually for me refers to 11 justice, but I'm also trying to keep track of the numbers because that might have to do with data. And that might be interesting too to see kind of cross-reference with this here and try to like get to a point where it shows you I did the hand shapes here, and these things can be rearranged, I guess, if there was more information and if this platform had the ability to what's the word I'm looking for? Extract down, like, because as right now you can only type in like one number and it'll pull up all data having to do with that one number, but anything further than that needs to be able to, because as you can see, there are 3 different vowels for one hand shape, or a few different consonants and places where things sounds come from for one location. So you need to be able to, I can't think of the word right now. That's in one of those videos on the tip of my tongue. Need to be able to, I keep wanting to say like dissect or extract down. That's not what it is, but you get my point. You need to be able to single out specific vowels and specific movements, and then see what those movements make up So as you can see here, that's all you can do, search for one number. But really what you need to be able to do is search for, so I just incorporated these things, but they aren't exactly like, it's just a prototype because I don't have the ability, the means to do that. But you get the idea. You get the concept, I guess, of how each one of these makes up a different vowel or sound, and as it moves to a different place, that's like moving from one syllable to another. And so this is pretty basic, but you can see how you could somehow formulate that into gestural movements. And I mean, it's basically kind of like, I have to focus, but what's it called? It's late. It's, as you can see, it's 1:04 in the morning, but it's so it keeps bringing up. I think it's going to try to do its best, like bringing up different associations to numbers. So the last one was 11. This would be 5. The rhythm, that's basically just the beat, how you'd speak or how you would sing a song, for instance. Stringing together words, but with a rhythm gives it its, sorry, not, I kind of try to pull everything up that I might need, but I'm a little bit scattered, just trying to figure out what, because this is brand new for me. I haven't even tried this before. And so, or really thought about it beyond this, like tonight, how I might do this. So as I'm explaining it to you, I'm also trying to like get clear in my head. 3340. And so again, yeah, you'd have to like put all of these in very specific, their own number categories, and I just was not going to be able to keep track of all of that. So I made it pretty simple, and things are clustered and grouped, but for the most part, as you can see, each dot that you roll over would represent all these different things, and those factors, aspects can be moved around, changed. So, let's see. Warrior version. Yeah, so 7 or 11. With that word warrior, I would think more so having to do with the chariot, or something having to do with enforcement, police enforcement, that kind of things. So 7, bringing the rhythm. 5, and let's see, I think this is one of those things I'm going to have to like look over later and kind of make sense of it. Strength materials, yeah, 8, mechanical engineering. It's like I know what needs to be done in order for this to work, which is so frustrating because you need to be able to separate out all of these different things that then are grouped. And I know it needs to be done, and I think it would be really, really interesting to see how then you can translate all of this into dialogue, and but then have it also relate to all these different other factors that I have listed here and incorporated. So it's already sort of set up, and we know it works because the ratio works, but yeah, I know. So, I mean, it's basically telling me I'm being, this is rudimental for what is possible, but at the same time, like I wouldn't be able to explain it to people without having some sort of visual and example of how it works. So, that is, I'm not trained in mechanical engineering, so once people understand what I am getting at, then they can bring that entire concept for me together into one more advanced platform. But I like what this does and how it shows you can switch from axes and compare different data points, and that's really, it's good. So, yeah. And this is just to show you that, everything's like legit and not making it up, and there'd be no point to that anyways if I'm actually trying to do an experiment, which I am, and what this whole thing has been. And so I guess people just didn't get that. Anyways, I don't really know what else to say besides just trying to explain what I'm doing here and seeing what it will come up with and how it might bring this information into. See, this would be a B for boy. You would start there, and you'd put it together with one of these, like oi here, from chin down. That's the movement. And then you go back to resting position, and you say boy, and you move from this hand shape to just the vowel alone, boy, down to your throat, and back to resting position. So it's just like a series of movements that connects different sounds with where the sound comes from. So it teaches you to read lips, and that's just for hearing impaired people, or really anyone. Helps with younger kids to learn to read quicker and speak sooner. But I figured it can't, it can only, be a good thing, I guess, to put it into data and see how it would be represented in moving data. And saying where it got this from. So maybe we're done here because this is going to be maybe just like a word or a couple words when I go through this and see what I can come up with, what it's trying to get at. So let's see. 2971. So at least bringing up like words that are pretty obvious, like J, B, boy, jackal, like I already had that. And 4312, 731. So then I usually reduce down these numbers to get to their lowest. So 7, 3, 10, 1, and then here you would probably translate that to how I had these divided up here. Gesture, side down, like you would then go and apply it to one of these. Like I had it all I mean, it's in the system. I just don't remember off the top of my head like how exactly, but I probably did it like 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes. And there's a few exceptions, so pretty much worked it out to end up with being 8. And like I was saying with like American Sign Language and things like that, there's so many different kinds of um, sign language forms and ways of, and the vocabulary, and different for, I mean, every language too. And this way, at least, you can kind of get it down to just what makes up the word. And there's only about 8 for that. So it works out with the ratio and how I completely put everything else into these different ratios. So it just kind of works out. You just need to apply it in the way that works best and have it, do a few tests that way and see. My gosh, I lost like a filling or something, and my tooth is like on fire, and I'm like, this is the worst time to have any issue like that, because you don't want to go to a dentist with like the virus. And then there's certain things like this, I think you would have to sort of make up how you want to go about. Are you going to spell out, like literally and, which is 1, 2, 3, 3 different hand shapes and one movement? Or are you going to have some sort of other way of interpreting, like an and sign, kind of like Morse code, where there are different formulations of words and phrases and different ways of saying and whatever. I have not really learned that yet, so that's something else that you could kind of compare to in a way, but it's pretty, I would say Morse code is more rudimentary than this, because this is pretty quick to learn, and I learned in one afternoon at least like the different hand shapes and how to spell things out pretty, at least like basic words. And reading it I think is a little harder, but if you start with kids, kids pick up really easily on those kinds of things. So anyways, going back to cute speech, anything else? And then we'll end this here. There we go. And with my initials. So I hope that sort of explained to you, like at least it makes a little bit more sense how I'm like reading these things, and how you can apply things in different ways so that things are obviously beyond face value. And yeah, see, I told you, like, I have like 0 followers. Like, I don't know why people think that I'm like all cocky and like huge about this, because I just think that I have like 4 people following me, and that's fine with me. I never really wanted to do anything beyond just trying to collaborate artistically and, find work. So if you're interested in working with me on this, please get in contact with me, and that information is on my my contact page. So I might do a few more and just see, but yeah, and type in the description what I come up with, what I think this is trying to spell out, all of it. So all right, thanks for watching.